We are live. Let's shut all this out. See if I can find it on my phone. Ah, yes, I can see myself. Let's go on this. We've got 5 people on, even though apparently I did this at the wrong time. So I've effectively been in Mexico since late January, and I thought I was on EST for the whole time I've been here. Apparently I'm not, even though Google says that in Mexico, in the state I'm in, I'm on EST. So apparently I'm wrong, which is quite amusing after 4 months of being here. But what can you do? Apparently I'm not, even though Google says that in Mexico. Hi Adam, hi Scott, hi Tom, hi Peter. Which is quite amusing after 4 months of being here. But what can you do? Let's let a couple more people join before we crack on with some questions. I am currently in Cancun. I was in Playa del Carmen for a few months. I've come back up here for a month. I was intended to get a flight back to UK at the end of May, at the end of this month, but the flight got cancelled. I booked another one for the day after. That flight got cancelled. So I don't know when and how I'm going to get home. Hey Simon, good to see you, mate. Haven't spoken to you for a while. Okay. Alright, there's 14 people on. Oh, the clock's changed in EST by an hour due to daylight savings time. That makes more sense now. So maybe it's only been a month that I've been wrong, which is fine. I can totally deal with being on the wrong time zone for a month. No dramas. Evening Tez, afternoon for me. Alright, let's get stuck into it. I don't know how long we'll go for, because obviously I've done this at the wrong time, so maybe less people will come on it, but who cares? If people want to start asking questions, then please pop them in the comments, because I've got them up on the phone, so I can get attacking any of these at any point. I assume some people are going to want to be talking about these inventory stock limits that have been brought in on us, so I might as well just start with that. Hey Dan. So my IPI score was 641 2 weeks ago, and I had about 4,800 books that I could have in my inventory, and then my IPI got brought down 7 points last week, and now I think I've only got 4,500 or 4,400 that I'm allowed, so I'm over capacity at the moment, so I'm having to not send any books into the warehouse, which kind of sucks. So at the moment I can't really grow my books business, but obviously a lot of people are in the same boat as me, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about on this live. Hey Roman, good to have you on. What is my sell-through rate? Let me check it. How do I even look at that? You go on inventory performance, do you? Sell-through. My sell-through is 1.1, and active inventory is 3,600 products, apparently, which does kind of make sense, because I've probably got about 800 that are like either being received or waiting to become active, or stuff like that. How is my IPI so high? I just said my sell-through rate's 1.1, so I think that 1.0 is pretty standard for booksellers, so mine's a little bit above standard, which I'm happy with. Would be nice if it was always better. How is my IPI so high? I guess I just make sure I buy books super cheap and don't try to sell them as high as all the other FBA sellers maybe, so I might try and price more competitively so I get a better sell-through rate. Just buying quality books, buying books that no one else is buying, not buying too many of a copy if it's not actually a good book to buy multiples of, not buying that many multiples in general, unless it's a pricing error. I guess there could be a whole host of reasons why my IPI is high, but I guess I've been doing it a while. It probably wasn't as high when I first started, but I'm looking at my inventory age now. I've got 13% in 91 to 180 days, and I've got 6.69% in 181 to 365. So I would like to reduce that down a bit, but having 80% in 0 to 90 I'm kind of content with. I can deal with that. Okay. I don't even need my phone up because the comments come up here. Okay. Let's see if there's anything on the event. Oh no, it's on that. Oh, let me mute this. So, hi Damon, your inventory limit is 1,000. How do you raise that? I have absolutely no idea how one goes about raising the limit currently because, well, I've not seen anyone who's had theirs raised. But I assume if you improve your sell-through rate or you improve your IPI, so make sure you've not got any stranded inventory, improve your sell-through. Well, that's, from what I gather, that's the only way that we can improve it. But I mean, my sell-through's in the orange part of the, on inventory performance where it says sell-through, stranded inventory, excess. I think all of our excess will be right up in the green, but then sell-through's never going to be that high for booksellers, is it? Because that's not the business model that we run unless you only sell fast-selling textbooks, and everyone knows that A, those are competitive, and B, a lot of people are gated in them anyway. I'm still gated. And then the stranded inventory can be a bit of a nightmare. Apparently I've got 22% stranded, but that's probably because a lot of them aren't allowed to become active because I'm over quantity maybe. I've not even thought about that. Yeah, so my stranded inventory percentage is 22.09%. So I think that might be because I've got 4,500 books going into Amazon or in Amazon Active, and my max inventory level is 4,263. So I've probably got 300 books that aren't even allowed to go live yet. So I'm hoping that May is going to be a decent month for me selling wise, and that I can just sell through loads of books, because otherwise I'm not in tune with the Amazon gods with the stranded percentage there. And then the sell through, there's not much we can do about that really, is there, as I said. But yeah, Roman, I guess the limits will get raised when you improve IPI, but it's such a new thing right now. We don't even know anything about it, do we, really? So, I mean, you'd assume that not every bookseller is going to have their limits stuck at 1,000, are they? If they're selling a good chunk of those 1,000, maybe it's a tenure thing. The longer you've been on, they'll slowly increase it. I mean, it could be anything, could it? Could be like customer feedback, could be the range of books you've got. I've got no idea. I don't know if anyone does. One strategy is to hold duplicates at prep center until others sell. That is a strategy, but I don't know about you. I've probably not got that many books with multiples anyway, even though I try to buy multiples. I've probably got 95% of my stocks just one copy books. So that strategy is not exactly scalable or going to produce many. It's not going to give you much leeway, is it? But valid, still something to do. Hey Christian. Stranded is a result of the process Amazon used to receive. Yeah, all books go stranded until received by Amazon, unless you untick the some sort of setting in Amazon, isn't there? I can't remember what it's called. kickstart something start program. If you untick that, apparently you don't get as many stranded books, but I haven't done that because I just didn't think it necessary, but maybe I should do that. It will depend on the performance of your account. Yeah, exactly, but I guess we don't know exactly the indicators of what it will depend on. I mean, Adam, you think more booksellers will have to rent storage units and do more MF? Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't know, if I'd even want to do MF, even if I had the option, really. It's just an added, it means you've got to deal with customer service more, isn't it? And you've got to deal with angry customers, and you're at the will of the postal service then. But if you can get a cheap warehouse to do it, then I guess why not? But because I'm not in the US, I'd be a bit scared off by doing MF in general and competing with the mega sellers on MF. But changing times might have to call for changing strategies. Kristen, hey Kristen, you said that if you turn off the Head Start program, that's it, not Kickstart. I need to do that, guys. Do we know where that is? Is that, I assume that's just in the settings somewhere, isn't it? Performance. I don't know. Maybe if someone can point that out in the comments, that would be helpful, because I can't remember where that is, as I obviously haven't done it. Yeah, Scott, so over 600 IPI and 20% stranded, but usually it's not, I don't have 20% stranded. I think it's just that's increased over the last week or so since this has happened. Usually it's about 10%. But maybe because it's so fresh, they've introduced it, and they're not, they haven't actually decided the full impact of this policy yet. I'm sure they're making it up as they go along, in a sense. Like, they know kind of where they want to take it, which is driving the prices down, which it looks like it has done this week, and making sure that people aren't trying to use the cheap storage too much in Amazon, right? I mean, the storage is ridiculously cheap. I paid less than $100 last month for my storage, which is what, 3,500 books. I'm only paying $100 storage. Now, you can't get that anywhere, can you? It's crazy. Hey Geo, how does the used buy box work? I see FBM getting it over FBA sellers. I price competitively and still don't get it. If you're a new FBA seller, you may not get the buy box. I've seen that on a lot of listings as well. Also, if your FBA price is just way higher than FBM, then you may not get the used buy box. I don't know if I've seen that increase over the last few months, but you've just got to be more competitive. You've got to keep your prices a little bit closer to FBM, I think, if you're a newer seller. I've not noticed myself not getting the buy box. Some listings just aren't FBA. Well, I don't know, but some listings do just seem to show the lowest price of the buy box, and you can't get the buy box. So that's just a book that you've just got to deal with that on that listing. But you will still get the sale if you're FBA and you're only pricing it a little bit higher. Even if you're pricing it much higher, you can still get the sale, because as much as customers aren't incredibly intelligent, they are still capable of looking at the other offers and won't just go for the lowest offer in the buy box, especially because the prime benefits. You've got the branding strength, which we all know about, and it still holds strong. It still works. So, Rick, hey Rick, good to see you. A reliable source, reliable, how do we know it's reliable, has said that the restock rate goes by how many items you sold in the last 3 months. If your inventory does not turn over by 100% in the past 3 months, you will have a restock limit. So if you sold 4,000 units in the past 3 months, your restock limit will be around 4,000. That's an interesting theory. I sold 1,000 books last month. Probably about 1,000 a month before that, but not 1,000 in Feb. So I don't think that holds water, that argument right now, but it could be right, I'm not sure. Hey Hugh, stranded does affect IPI, so I would suggest turning off to see a difference. Yeah, I'm going to do that straight after this call. I'm going to be getting rid of the stranded Head Start program thing because it doesn't seem to benefit anyone, does it? Have you put the link in there, Layla? Thank you very much. That is much appreciated. Geo, thanks. You're new and pricing the lowest FBA. Yeah, it's probably just because you're new. Have you got any customer feedback? If you've got none, you definitely will struggle to get the buy box. And even if it's less than maybe 10 or 20, I've noticed that I get buy box even though I'm pricing higher than newer sellers with maybe only 5, 10, 15 feedback. So yeah, you've just got to be patient, get those feedbacks in, make sure you're signing up to a email marketing campaign service where they send emails out to your customers, and then you can increase the chance of getting positive feedback. So yeah, get on that. That's really good to do. Damon, do we want Head Start on or off? Oh, that's a good question. I think you want it off. If I'm correct on that, I think we want it off because then they won't all be stranded. I'm going to click that link later to see if I can get more books into Amazon. I don't even need to open this because I can see it on here. We've got 24 people on. Have 23 of you, have anyone got any more questions, guys? Come on, let's get them in thick and fast. I'm here to try and provide some knowledge and value if I can. Obviously, I don't know too much about all these new changes, but we can still talk anything book related, you know. Geo, you've got 45 items active. Oh, 8 days. You got 2 sales. Okay, well, fair enough. Yeah, that's because you're super new. Then yeah, you won't get the buy box for ages. So I wouldn't worry about it. Just be patient. It's part of the game. You'll get there. If you keep selling books, you are going to get feedbacks, and as long as you're not sending in tatty, mouldy, smelly acceptables, you should get a few 5-star reviews coming, and then you'll start getting the buy box, and then you'll be loving it. Roman, maybe a good strategy would be mixing book OA with general merchandise OA. Yeah, I mean, if I was one of you guys who live in the UK, what am I talking about? Living in the US, I would totally be looking into DVDs and CDs. I'd be looking into wholesale. I'd be looking into other products. But for me, I've got to think about value-added tax in the UK, which means I get charged 20% on sales. And also, I'm just happy sticking with books for now. I'm not going to panic and jump ship because I know my books. I'm good at it, and it makes a nice living. Currently, I can focus on other things, but yeah, I think it would be great opportunity to venture into other categories. Okay, Tom Parkinson, you usually know your stuff. You read somewhere Head Start doesn't affect IPA. It would make sense, it shouldn't really affect IPI, but then if Head Start causes stranded inventory and stranded inventory affects IPI, then as a matter of logic, surely it does, but I'm not too sure on that. Regalos, good to see you on air. How is the alert software working for everyone? I can't comment for everyone else. Well, I can comment for a few people that have spoken to me and direct messaged me and say they're finding really good books on it and it's working really well for them. It's obviously working pretty well for me. I think March did about 75k sales and last month about 78. Hopefully 90 or more this month because May's usually a real goodie, but we'll see. And the alert software is treating me really nicely. The guys at the alert software, they lost a developer and that's why it's taken a bit longer to get eBay on the software, but that's coming very soon. And they're also creating their own product finder so that we don't have to use Keeper anymore, so that'll be interesting. Watch that space. And I think they'll be looking at providing users with an option to upgrade their alerts as well, just to let you know, guys, because I spoke to them last week. So watch this space, watch the group, and I'll be making a few announcements fresh off the press with regard to the alerts. So that's quite exciting. Oh yeah, Roman. Yeah, I know what you mean actually. Yeah, I think Caleb Roth did a Q&A last week, and he came up with a very good point, which is why not buy a few SKUs that are, say, light, in that light and fast selling category or whatever. So buy some nail files or, toilet paper or something. Stuff that people use all the time that's going to sell through super fast. You don't even need to make a profit on it, and then that will bring your IPI up. I'm not sure how that would work though, in terms of, say, for me or someone with 1,000 books in stock. If you've only got a few SKUs that start selling really quickly, is that really going to turn the needle for you, or would you have to start having a large number of SKUs selling through for you? Is that valid for the big bookseller? It might be good for someone who's just got started, and then you can just chuck a few in, but I'm not sure. Something to think about. There is some potential benefits Head Start being on, as I understand it. Allows your books to be available and sold while in transit between FCs. Ooh, that's a good point. That might have been why I didn't do it in the first place, because there was a bit of debate on the forums about that. It would be nice if people could put in the comments if they know any more on that, or if they could clarify, because you do get sales while books are waiting to be kind of put in their correct fulfillment centre, and we obviously want our books active and available to sell ASAP, as soon as possible. Every hour they're active is a potential opportunity for them to sell, especially key during textbook seasons and stuff. So hopefully someone can reply back on there. Tez, what's the process you go through when signing up for a US prep centre? Well, the one that I use, Central Virginia Prep, you just email office@centralvirginiaprep.com and ask them if you can set up an account. They'll send you a contract to sign. You sign that, and then they'll send you details to a shared Google Doc, and then you just put your books on there. You tell them what condition you want the book in, and then they'll tell you the date it arrives. They'll put the tracking number on there, and they'll tell you if it's arrived in the right condition and if it's the right ASIN, ISBN. And then you ask them to send a batch in when you've got enough in and when you're happy to send them in. So that's pretty much it. There's more info on that if you just search the group, I think, or you can just put a post up and someone will get back to you in more detail, probably. Rick, also the chatter out there is saying that if you have 1,000 unit restock limit, send in 800 books and 200 low price fast. Oh, what we just said, yeah, that will break even to trick the sell through rate, yeah. But my question there is that if you've got 20% of your stock that's selling fast and 80% that's not, then is that going to help you massively or not? I don't know. What software do I recommend for new sellers to get reviews? Well, the one that I used, it was called Feedback Express, but they got bought out by Excelco. So I recommend Excelco because it works really well, but I think I've been grandfathered in at the Feedback Express price of $30 a month for 1,000 emails. But I recently looked on the Excelco site, and I think they charge $60 maybe or more for their 1,000 emails. And I'm sure if you Google competitors that you'll be able to get a software that costs less than $60 a month. So I do recommend Excelco, but I think it's a bit pricey. I'm just fortunate enough not to pay that price, and I'm sure they'll up it soon for me. And I'll need to get a better increase from 1,000 up this month anyway, because I'll need to send more than 1,000 emails. But if anyone knows of any other softwares that are good for getting reviews, then by all means pop them in the chat. I'm not affiliate. Well, I think I am affiliated with Excelco, but they're not very good with their links and stuff, so I just don't care that much about them. But I'll happily rave about them because they've got me a ton of good reviews and it's really easy to set up. There's just like there's like loads of different templates that they give you, and all you have to do is just set them up. Tell them when you want your email to go out, so a day after the books arrived according to the tracking, and then you're laughing. Really, it's pretty good. Am I using AI repricing on all my listings now, or do you still use some of the manual Be Cool rules? I only use the AI rule, which is the moderate competition rule, AI rule, on the listings where there's 20 total offers or less, which for me is about 12 or 1200 listings, something like that. So I use AI on 1200 listings, and the rest I use the rule that's in my first YouTube video still, because that rule just seems to tick over and work for me. So less than half I use for AI. Obviously I would use more, but it just depends on how many books you've got with 20 offers or less. We like the listings with 20 offers or less, but they're not super easy to find, as most of you will know probably. Scott, it doesn't affect IPI when it is in transit between FCs. However, it does affect IPI when it's initially stranded as listing area. Yeah, that's like what I said earlier. I would have thought that the stranded part of the Head Start program is not beneficial for us. Layla says, even if you have Head Start paused, Amazon will still choose to make some books active and available early. Okay, yeah, so maybe I will turn off Head Start and see how that goes for me. Okay, we'll check that out later. Okay, appreciate. No worries on the update, Regalos. They should also eliminate duplicate alerts. I'm not sure what you mean by that, later. Just trying to follow this thread here on the out of stock. The issue with stranded is related to out of stock inventory. If you're refilling out of stock inventory, which is pretty much everything for us, then it goes into stranded listing error. If we were refilling only in stock inventory, then it wouldn't impact our IPI. I had a long discussion with a fairly knowledgeable seller support person on this earlier this week. Okay. Erkan, good to see you. Any idea what affects the restock limits? I have no idea. I mean, I just said it at the start of the call that I just assume it's improving your sell-through, making sure you've not got many stranded books, and that's it really. That's all you can do. Just keep buying books or products that sell through faster. I mean, as simple but not as easy as that. That's correct about the Head Start. However, I had a good number of books sold come up missing. Seemed to be an issue with a sold book being recognised as they were being checked in, and this disappeared and sale cancelled. Okay, I'm not too sure about that, unfortunately. Let's see. Have I used a VA? Good question. How has it worked out? What do you have them do? I hired a virtual assistant from the Philippines through Thomas Parkinson's wonderful company, Fast Track FBA. I paid a dollar amount for them to hire someone, train them for a week in sourcing, just regular online arbitrage sourcing, and then they were transferred over to me, and I got on a call with them and I started training them to buy books. So my initial VA worked out so well. I got him doing all my repricing, pretty much all my admin, all my checking for lost books, dealing with returns and buying as well. Initially he was quite cautious because I think that's just part of the Filipino culture, and also he's just scared to buy too many books because he didn't want to make any mistakes. But then within a few weeks, just quickly got straight into it, and he's buying loads of my books for me. He's really good at buying, and due to how well having one VA was going, I went for lunch with Tom again because he's in Mexico, and we had a really great conversation. And he kind of posed the question of what if one's working so well for you, why not get more? So I've got 4 VAs now. So I hired 3 a few weeks ago. They're all quite new. I think one of them's been working for 3 weeks now, one of them 2, and one of them 1. One of them unfortunately got COVID, and is working super well. I've got a rota, so they're all buying round the clock for me. So because I just think with the way that I run my business in terms of alerts coming into my email inbox, then you can get good buys coming around the clock, and there's not a set period of time for when a good book becomes available. So I thought, well, if I set up a rota and I get them 4 of them on night shifts, I can pretty much have someone online looking at a screen waiting to pick up an alert 24/7. So at the moment there's only a few hours in the week gap where there's no one looking at a screen trying to pick up a keeper alert or trying to pick up a book trade software alert. So that's pretty cool. Definitely worth the spend, worth the money, worth using Tom's service Fast Track, because this just works so well for me. And yeah, it's just a new challenge for me, having a team, motivating them, giving them enough stuff to do, making sure they're doing everything right, making sure they're enjoying themselves. And yeah, it's it's a cool new thing. And I couldn't handle the workload, because if you're trying to do 7 figures, there's no way I could do all the buying and repricing myself. So yeah, I'd 100% recommend getting a VA if your profit hits a certain target and you're starting to find it difficult outside of your normal job, or you're just finding repricing too many books difficult and your workload's overwhelming. I would 100% recommend using a VA, because it's done wonders for my business. It's done wonders for my own mental health, because I don't have to work as hard and I can focus on more revenue producing activities and grow my business more, because I'm not dealing with the itty gritty admin repricing tasks which someone else can do. I can focus on finding new ways to buy more books over the long term, rather than doing the repricing stuff. So yeah, super useful. I'm loving the VA, having a team and all that stuff. It's great. Okay, curious to what extent does Central Virginia Prep clean up the books? Do they remove any and all labels? As far as I know, they definitely do a little clean, and but I don't think they're going to remove all the stickers and stuff, because sometimes those stickers are like properly stuck on, as it were. They're very hard to get off. So I don't think the stickers necessarily affect the sale, so they don't bother with that, I don't think. But you'd have to ask them directly, because I'm not 100% sure on their process, so don't go on my word as gospel. Hayden, how you doing? It's been a while since we spoke. You will be on your travels soon. I feel like you said that a month ago and a few months ago, so I don't know whether to believe you or not, mate. I feel like you should have come out here months ago, and by the time you come out, I'll be going home. But what can you do? Okay, I've been contemplating whether restocking using a new SKU every time replens might not bump up sell-through and eventually increase IPI and stock limits. Yeah, I'm not sure. My prep center uses a new SKU every time, and I just think that works way better, because then on the SKU it's easier to see the date that SKU was created. I think new SKU just works better than restocking, probably, but I could be wrong. I don't know. It's worth thinking about. Yeah, cheers Hayden. 4 VAs is the way forward. I'm not sure if I'll get a 5th, but 4 seems adequate for me right now. Could probably do my volume with 3, but no harm in having an extra. We also have to see how often Amazon updates the restock limits for us. Yeah, I mean, they obviously update it when your IPI gets updated, which is every week. So at the very least, or the very most, they're doing it every week. yeah, that will create issues on our flow of inbound books and late Amazon. That's why I think we're going to have to be quite careful with buying. I am at the moment anyway. I have a VA not manually, well, manually repricing in the sense that I get them to look at all the new books that have become active in my inventory, and I get them to put in the cost price from my spreadsheet onto BeCool, and then I have them set the minimum and maximum for me under the guidelines that I've taught them, and then apply the rule. Whether it's, if there's 20 offers or less, they apply the AI rule. If it's 21 offers or more, they apply the other rule. So that's what I have them do. And there's always 50 to 100 books to reprice every day at the moment, so plenty for them to be getting on with. Scott doesn't reuse SKUs yet, neither do I. That would annoy me, I think. Not sure if that's too relevant for the IPI. There really is no way around it. Hayden, you've been in lockdown. I was in lockdown when I left here, you know. We have all been in lockdown to a certain extent. Sometimes you've got to make the decision to leave. What does the VA do with the repricing? Yeah, so I just mentioned that. BeCool does do the repricing, but there is still a manual element of repricing, which is you need to put in, well, for the way I do it, you could use BeCool. You could set up a rule that says, based on your cost price, you want to make a minimum of 10% net profit and a maximum of whatever, 200%. You could do that, and that would be a much quicker way of doing repricing, but I don't do that because I feel like that could leave plenty of gaps in your pricing. It could price you higher than new FBA price. You could price you higher than Amazon. You could miss out on profits because you set it at 200% whatever, and then sometimes you get 1,000% ROI. You know, I sold a book the other day that did actually get refunded, but I sold a book for $392. I bought it for $10. So that ROI is ridiculous, isn't it? It's like 3,000% or whatever. Annoyingly, it got refunded. I don't know where it is now, but either way, I wouldn't recommend doing the percentage BeCool repricing rules, just because for a bookseller, I don't think it's you're going to miss out on a lot of profit. But for someone who's doing wholesale, someone's doing regular RA, then yeah, you can totally use the percentage rules. But so I have my VA putting in the minimum maximums and the cost price, and it just gives them a better idea of how the book market works, and it also teaches them to buy better books, because then they know, they can find out which books, where the prices are at, where they bought them, relevant to the current price or the price that they bought them at. So it's kind of, it's just a good task for if you've got a VA. I found it useful for my own bookseller knowledge to do the BeCool partial manual repricing, because it meant that I was able to monitor prices in the market a bit better. You get to learn seasonality, you get to learn which books are dying a bit better. So it's just overall useful task for any arbitrage bookseller, I'd say. Sarah is loving the software. Hear that, Regalos, and anyone else interested in the software? I'm loving it. Sarah's loving it. I know a few other people who messaged me are loving it. It is great. There is going to be a relaunch because there's been sizable changes coming through, and changes are being made at the moment. So I will let the group know when I hear more on that, and when the update's kind of ready and done. But it's powerful. It's making people money. That's what I'd say. Cheers, Tom. Thanks for that lovely comment. Get in the pool and enjoy the sun. I know the people in the UK watching, if they won't have been enjoying too much heat, but maybe there was some sun today. It's bank holiday in the UK, so I hope people are enjoying themselves. Yeah, it's a hard life, isn't it, Hayden, for us? I'm looking outside at a beautiful sunny day. It's about 30 degrees. Not much to complain about. Scott says the software is great too. So we've got another person singing its praises, which is fantastic to see. I'm very glad that something I'm promoting is benefiting the users, because I've put my name to it, and I'm happy that it's reaping rewards for people. Corin's on the beach in Exmouth. Great stuff. I'm not sure I've been to that beach, but there is a certain charm to British beaches, even if they're not as hot as we'd like. I do like the sea breeze and the smell, a nice fish and chips. Have I talked to see VAP about storage? I haven't yet. I'm sure that's going to come up soon though, so I'll let you guys know when I hear any more on what their policy is going to be on storage. But I think they must realise that it's a very new problem for all of us, and we've got to take stock of our strategy and what we're going to do. So they're probably giving us a little bit of time. I'd like to thought they moved into a new warehouse not too long ago, so hopefully they've still got space. But I would have thought, I mean, Shanna did ask me to pretty much put a stop to my buying, because at one point I was just buying a ridiculous amount of books. I bought 3,000 books last month, which is double the month before. I just went crazy with the new VAs. They were able to buy more books for me when I was usually sleeping, so we had a good opportunity to scale. And then as soon as these inventory limits came in, I kind of had to just cut that off straight away. So I'm not buying many books at all. I'm still buying some really good ones, but I'm telling my VAs to only buy books that are really going to make me good profit or that are super cheap, just because I don't want to have too many books in CVAP and cause them any stress. And also there's just no point in having books that you bought sitting in a warehouse gathering dust, is there? As Sarah said, Little Owl does storage, so definitely worth hitting up Little Owl. I've heard good things from them. I can't comment because I've not used them, but I've only heard good things from word of mouth from other people who've used Little Owl. So yeah, give them a try if you want, guys. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will be messaging them though, so you might want to get there sooner rather than later. What's the cost of living in Mexico for a month? Do I recommend Mexico? I definitely recommend Mexico. It's a great place. Lovely place, lovely people, lovely foods, good weather. It's very cheap. You pay $30 a night for a nice Airbnb. If you pay for, say, a month up front, $40 to $50 if you just pay for a night. But that's for a nice place, for your own place as well. Hotels would be about $50. Food's super cheap, so yeah. Get out here if you can. I'd recommend it. Okay. Looks like the questions are drying up a bit. We've been going for 42 minutes. That's probably a good amount of time to start wrapping this thing up. I'm going to put this on YouTube anyway, so anyone who was late to it or hasn't seen this, they'll be able to see it on YouTube. It'll be up on the group anyway. So hopefully that's some valuable content for people. We've talked VAs, we've talked IPO, we've talked storage, we've talked changing strategy, we've talked Be Cool, repricing. I think that's a pretty good haul of stuff that we've chatted about. Name on YouTube. I think if you type in Sell Books FBA, it should come up. Or type in Sell Books FBA maybe. I can post a link in the chat actually. That would probably be more helpful for you. Okay, cheers for that, Roman. Little Owl not accepting new people until June. That would make sense. Oh, they're changing location, so they're probably going to get a ton of requests in June. So maybe try and get your requests in now, and then you'll be ahead of the queue or something like that. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it quits there. The name of my review, I can put it in here. It's X Sell Co. as in the letter X and Sell Co. There you go. Google that and you'll be able to find it. As I say, it might be more expensive than the rest of the market, but it's good and it does the job. Okay, guys, I am going to have a wander outside, maybe get a tan. We shall see. It's been lovely chatting with you all. Thank you very much for the people who have been watching, for the people who hopped on for a minute, for anyone who asked questions. That is really makes my life a whole lot more enjoyable and easier, and it stops the Q&A from being 10 minutes long, which would have been embarrassing on my part, even though I did it at the wrong time apparently. So next time I'll make sure I'm on the right time zone, so apologies about that. I'm just a bit of a numpty there, aren't I? Yep, cheers Randy, cheers Donna, cheers Sarah, cheers Damon, cheers Minhan, if I'm saying that right. Thank you all immensely, and I will see you in the group, answering questions if I can. Thank you to everyone, and yeah, everyone have a lovely sunny Sunday. If it's not sunny, make sure it's lovely, but both are preferable. Cheers, Paul. Yeah, the replay will be up on here, so you'll be able to get it. All right, cheers, guys. I will see you soon, speak to you soon. Ciao for now. Adios.